This is LukePaulson, the Catholic.Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for February 1st, 2025. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. D.O.G.E hit squads. The Department of Government Efficiency, or D.O.G.E, is on the move. Teams of 4 have been unleashed into every federal agency. The teams consist of a leader, a human resource specialist, a lawyer, and an engineer. They have already found a lot of things, and are saving the taxpayer millions of dollars in excess expenses. To be honest, I thought that it was just going to be Musk and Ramaswamy, even though the latter has left, and a few others sitting in a room and looking at paperwork to issue advice. Going into each agency with qualified teams means that they can find things that would otherwise be hidden. One thing that was a huge waste was empty office buildings that we are still paying rent on. As such, go to the office or be fired. Come back to work. Government employees were very upset this past week. As a result of the economic shutdown of 2020, a lot of them have been working remotely, despite the fact that we are still paying for the building that they are supposed to be working in. And if all of these people are working remotely, they can all choose to live in the swamp. President Trump wanted the Bureau of Land Management to be moved to Colorado. This would put the department out where it needed to be. They are not happy about having to return to work because it might mean that their cushy jobs might be harder. If they do not like it, they can quit. Then the department can hire people who actually serve the American people. There are a few parts of the government that still serve the American people, but one thing that only serves themselves is the didn't earn it offices. DEI on paid leave. As we all know, DEI stands for didn't earn it. President Trump ordered that every DEI office in the federal government be placed on paid leave. Then their offices were to be shut down. A little while back, James O'Keefe and his team found that government agents were changing the names of departments so that they would not risk getting shut down when President Trump came back. Lisa T. Boykin of the ATF was a chief diversity officer on January 21st, but was a senior executive on January 22nd. I severely doubt that it was a promotion. It seems as if she just wants to keep her job of choosing employees based on melanin and gender. I would bet the farm that she is not the only one. Just like in California, the most qualified person does not always get the job. The anti-white and anti-man policies that these offices have are ridiculous. However, one place that should be anti-man is women's sports. Keep men out. The House passed a bill that keeps men out of women's sports. The only ones who are upset about this are those mediocre men who cannot compete, and those who failed 5th grade biology. Surprisingly, there are a lot in that second group. As of this recording, it is on its way to the Senate, where it stands a good chance of passing. If it does reach President Trump's desk, he will almost undoubtedly sign it. Combine this with the fact that President Trump ordered that the only genders recognized by the federal government are male and female. And James O'Keefe has already shown that schools are defying this.
And all of them have a condition called androgen immunodeficiency syndrome, and all of them have an XY chromosome. Now women, probably everybody in here, all the females have XX chromosomes. And all you guys have XY chromosomes. Usually, all of these women have female sex organs. They do have male sex organs as well in their body. Are these guys? Mr. Trump says so.
God created us male and female, but it was the enemy who made up all of the other genders. And here I thought that liberals were supposed to be the party of science. Clearly, they are not. They are also clearly not the party of law and order, as they do not care about justice. Part of the law and order of this country are the brave men and women of our military. Pride in our veterans. I take more pride in people who have put their lives on the line to protect me than in sin that has become politically correct. It was rumored that President Trump used an executive order to replace that infernal Pride Month with Veterans Month. First of all, that has to go through Congress. Second of all, It is not even true. President Trump merely asked the people if this celebration would be better and what they thought of it. I, for one, support it. Combine this with him taking down all of those pride flags, and it seems more and more obvious that the Almighty saved him from that deep state bullet. In truth, he must be furious that a symbol that he created for mercy upon mankind's sin is being used to justify sin. Something tells me that the fake news made this claim just so that they could attack him and his supporters over it. They did the same thing when the Clinton campaign created the Steele dossier. There is something, however, almost as worthless as the Steele dossier. Get rid of the penny. The penny is among the single most worthless things that our government has created. Granted, a large part of that is because of inflation, but because things today have more quality, they are more expensive. It is not just inflation that is causing home prices to go up, but also the fact that there is more electrical infrastructure and the houses themselves are safer from fires. In truth, the mint actually loses money on the penny. Canada got rid of their penny about a decade ago, and America used to have a half-cent coin. One of the items on Doge's hit list is the penny. From an economic perspective, it is useless. Countries like Canada just round up to the nearest nickel or whatever coins they have up there. However, I suspect one reason that the penny has remained as long as it has is who is on the penny. The eternally corrupt deep state idol that is Abraham Lincoln. However, we are not supposed to speak ill of the great emancipator who wanted to deport all of the former slaves. And some things are even less valuable than the penny, than even a hay penny. No more Paris Accords. One of the greatest things that President Trump has done is to get us out of that infernal Paris Climate Accord. The agreement was designed to stop imaginary global warming. Global warming. Something that will kill us all, even if the models never come to fruition. Since global warming is the biggest load of political hogwash outside of socialism, we can just ignore it. There is also the practical side of things. Unless China and India join in cutting emissions, it will all be worthless. It is no secret that we need energy for things like crypto and AI. Love them or hate them, they are here to stay. But they require a lot of energy to work. Even if these two were not a factor. As America becomes more industrialized, we are going to need more and more energy. Which is why drilling in the Gulf of America is such a big step. While Brandon may have stopped drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, he did not stop drilling in the Gulf of America. If it works, the deep state will be even more furious. Brandon's handlers tried to burn the house on the way out, and they failed miserably. One problem with environmentalists is that they never consider the human cost, such as not letting water flow to save the smelt fish. Turning on the water. President Trump said that he sent federal troops in to turn the water on in California. According to California, federal troops not only did not enter the Golden State, but the pumps in question were just down for maintenance. This is the same party that let the state burn to save the smelt, and wanted a diverse fire crew rather than a qualified one. I honestly do not know if either story is true. I do not live in California, and I never plan to. However, while President Trump has an ego, he has been delivering for the American people. Californian leadership has been lying, and their state is bearing the consequences. President Trump issued 2 conditions for aid to be sent to California. 1, the state must have voter ID so that the people have a say in how things are done. 2, the state must provide water for the dried up areas. It is a toss-up as to whether or not both will be provided. However, California is not the only place where environmentalism has gotten someone in trouble. The factory on fire. This past week, there was a massive fire at a battery factory in California. Fires burst through factories every day, and so that is not the story. The story is that this puts a damper on so-called clean energy. Then there's the catch that this is not actually clean energy. Recharging these batteries requires energy from coal and natural gas. It is a performance of people pretending to save the environment so that they can look more virtuous. Not even 6 months ago, there was a battery factory in Kansas that also had a problem. While it did not catch on fire, the owners did something that did not make them look good. They needed a coal power plant to keep up with the energy demands of making batteries. So in other words, they are using coal to make the batteries, and coal is used to charge the batteries, all the while needing rare metals such as lithium, probably obtained by child or slave labor, just to pretend that they are better than everyone else. It is a real really good thing that President Trump cut the electric vehicle mandate. Liberals do not believe that people should be able to buy products that they like over products that they do not want or need. Speaking of things that most people do not want, let us talk about the illegals. Taking back their criminals. Human traffickers, drug dealers, and those who committed violent crimes are being deported back to their home countries. Whether this will be people who do not want to go back to Haiti or Colombia, they will be going home. Initially, the Colombian president refused to take these people back. However, after President Trump gave him an ultimatum, he relented. It makes sense that he would be hesitant to accept human traffickers, drug dealers, and those who committed violent crimes back into his country. Now America is free of so many of these wretched people. Naturally, the snowflakes and talking heads like Selena Gomez are very upset that criminals are being deported. She did not have a problem with the human trafficking, drugs, or violent crimes. She only had a problem when they were arrested. If your father caused a wreck while under the influence, he would be arrested and placed in prison. Whether you like it or not, you would be separated from your father. And it would be even worse if he was a human trafficker, drug dealer, or committed violent crimes. These facts do not matter to liberals. And the anchor babies are very upset that their criminal parents are being taken away. They are more than welcome to go with their parents. One thing that I have noticed is that liberals are again saying that we will have to pick produce ourselves. As if human traffickers, drug dealers, and those who commit violent crimes were innocently picking produce. But this is proof that Democrats see these people not as humans, but as cheap labor. Others are taking the opportunity to use coded language to arm illegals against ICE. The code word is cute winter boots. The only thing more abysmal than all of these illegals draining the welfare state without paying in are the tax collectors that would probably look the other way. Say goodbye, Taxman. President Trump is on the side of the American people, not the swamp. He ordered a 90-day hiring freeze on IRS employees. Officially, this will make it harder to get your return, but it would be a lot easier to just abolish that agency once and for all. After all, before the IRS, you got to keep all of the money in your paycheck. If you wanted to invest in your business, you could do that. If you wanted to save for the future, you could do that. If you wanted to just waste all of it, you could do that. He also wants to fire nearly 90,000 newly hired employees. President Trump joked that he may send them to the border. At least there they could actually accomplish something rather than just spending the whole day stealing. We may even see the complete elimination of the agency and the income tax. Will this happen?
One can only hope.
However, while it may be a while before we see this reflected in our paychecks, 2 undercover reporters have already been vindicated. Justice for the investigators. Back in 2015, the Center for Medical Progress used undercover investigative tactics and showed that Planned Parenthood was selling human tissue for medical research. Now, normally, selling human tissue is illegal, and rightly so. However, if it is humans that are young, it must not matter. California tried to destroy David Deladin and Sandra Merritt over this. Typical liberals and government cronies. Someone finds out about malfeasance and shows it to the public, but only the person who exposed said malfeasance gets arrested. It is truly a sad state of affairs. However, this story has a happy ending in that the 2 are finally free. Is this a result of a shift in the electoral base and the government is reading the room?
Only Poppins would know.
Either way, the 2 now have no jail time, no fines, no admission of wrongdoing, and no probation. It has been said that the process is the punishment. Californian courts and other cronies wanted to send a message that investigations into wrongdoing cannot be tolerated. Make no mistake, bringing charges against these 2 took a lot of money.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
It was also meant to scare the pro-life side of the aisle, to make us think that it was too dangerous to defend innocent children. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.